Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Central American Voices podcast. This is the first episode of 2024, where I'm so excited to have y'all back. So in this episode, I have a very special guest. His name is Marlon Vladimir Rodriguez. He's one of my close friends. So I just wanted to introduce him and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know, you want to introduce a little bit more?
Yeah, like you said, my name is Marlon Vladimir Rodriguez, and I've been pursuing filmmaking for, I'd say, the last 7 years of my life. Yeah, and it's been quite a journey, a lot of learning and a lot of fun, but, definitely some struggle in there. A lot of struggle.
Yeah, like you're a filmmaker.
But, this is the life for me, and this is the one I chose because there's no other life for me, and I'm all for it.
Yeah. Good. I mean, I love that you're always very passionate about filmmaking and screenwriting, and this is kind of how we met, right? Because our friends Christina, we kind of joined because of the screenwriting. And
yes.
We just came along here and writing this way of filmmaking, how hard it is. But before we talk about your filmmaking journey, I wanted to ask, so how was for you growing up as a Central American, Salvadoran specifically, like here in LA?
Honestly, I didn't have a lot of connection to El Salvador. Growing up, I heard stories of what it was like, my parents, the struggle, and how how dangerous it was when they arrived. And so they didn't really tell me much up until I was like maybe 10 when I got to go for the first time. Mm-hmm. And even then, they were scared of how dangerous the situation was. So I was always kind of like separated from it. And I grew up really not embracing it at all. Like I really didn't know where I fit in. So watching movies, I just kind of felt like it'd be cooler to have like a more American name, more American lifestyle, speak English more. And, it's sad because not that my name's even Spanish, I think it's like some form of French, Marlon. But I wanted to change it to something more like Zach. Right? Which is dumb, but I just remembered asking my parents, hey, can I be called Zach? And they're like, sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it wasn't until later I was like, oh, wow, there's people in like my ethnic group that are like really amazing filmmakers, one, for example, is like Robert Rodriguez, and it wasn't until like later in my 20s, I started going out to El Salvador more, asking more questions, learning about it, and really just, I guess, caring and, and trying to find my roots. And even then, I didn't really know too many Salvadoran like filmmakers or whatever. I would Google like, famous writers, directors. I'm sure I know they exist. I'm not familiar with them. Not until like you guys brought me onto your short film. And, I met these animators, right? And that was just so cool. I was like, wow, never did I think I was going to work and spectate you guys, put your film together with Salvadoran animators and what else? They're animators and illustrators, right? And I just thought it was so cool. And I actually have an upcoming film I told you about, but I'm sure you'll have questions for that.
Yeah. No, but I'm so excited. I feel like here in LA, I feel like the Central American, especially the Salvadoran community. I mean, it is the second highest community in the Hispanic. So Salvadorans are pretty big, but I know like growing up as a Central American sometimes can be very isolating, right? Because it's like, who do you connect? Do you think like that because you weren't attached to a lot of your identity growing up, did that affect you in some case, like pursue film? Or you were just more curious about other aspects?
I guess, like you can see in my writing, I don't really write about like where I come from, really. It's just, my feelings, and then I'll find a plot and I'll work its way in there, but never is it about like what it was like for my parents to come here, right? Just because they almost spoke about it like it was not a good place to be. So there was not a lot of like, not that they didn't love it. It's just, they wanted a better life for us. So like I said, I didn't know too much of it other than like the wars and the kidnappings and, like the infamous gang over there. Yeah. That's even spread all over the world, which is crazy, right? So there's not a lot to like look forward to, but that's just because I didn't know,
Yeah.
you know. And so now, I'm sorry. What was, remind me your question.
No, I was just saying, like, did like kind of like did that spark a little bit of your curiosity?
Yeah,
Of
definitely.
like connect, not only like finding other Central Americans or like Salvadoran filmmakers, but also like something that is not very like attached to what you said, like war or something like that, like more to the the identity of being Salvadoran.
Yeah, like I didn't know like a lot of surfers went there for one.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know there was this famous movie called Salvador, along with many other stories from there. And it was just like, oh, okay, like, maybe I should, you know, um, do something in that. But I wanted a good reason. I just wanted to like exploit it. Like, oh, hey, I'm Salvadoran. Let me tell a story and like, give me attention because this is important. No, like I really need to connect to it first. Um, and a cool thing is like my mom is actually a really good storyteller. She used to tell us scary stories all the time. And so I think from all the like the myths from over there, that really piqued my interest because I'm all about like thrills and scares. That's like my genre, thriller horror. So if I am going to like go and like explore, I'm definitely explore that side, but at the same time get the facts straight. I can't just make a film and not do my research. Yeah. So eventually, when I do make a film about my home country, I'd like to shoot there.
Yes.
And I would definitely like to get all the facts straight and do a lot of research beforehand.
Yeah, and I think that is very important. I recently had this conversation with like one of my friends that I'm producing another film with, and it was about film about this conversation was about, of course, general Latinos, but it's how like a lot of times when we tell stories that we cater a lot to migration, we cater a lot to, like you said, war, stuff like that. And it's like, what about like a film that it is just a film that happens to be Latinos involved in our culture that is not very with like a lot of stereotypes or misinformation, right? And so I think that when you said like it's good to like not only connect with your country, but also like if you want to make a film that it also feels authentic, not like just pull off together. Does that say what I'm trying to say?
Okay. I think yeah. I mean, like have some either maybe it's not the main point, but it's in the background.
Yeah,
for sure. It's like almost a character. Definitely, like I said, the more I discovered more about like my home country, the more I realized there's a lot of differences. I just sometimes people think you're Hispanic, you all do the same thing, or you call everything the same. But we all speak different. We have different accents. I don't know about dress different.
Probably, yeah, maybe.
But definitely, like people from Mexico, they wear the boots. They have like you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
But for me, I like I looked up. I think at one point I looked up what is a traditional like customary wardrobe, right? That'd be really cool to wear. Or to explore, like have it in the background, have the set look like, oh yeah, these people are definitely from El Salvador. Look at that flag, look at those colors, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The food for sure.
Oh yeah.
That
that's very different.
I'm familiar with.
You're like that. I really know.
Yeah, my mom's really good at cooking, so yeah.
Okay, la pupusa. Yeah, good. Well, and then so I know you said your mom is very storyteller. Is that who you started like to pursue filmmaking because of how good a storyteller, or how did like this like I want to pursue filmmaking started?
Well, I think it did start. I just didn't know because she would tell me these scary stories, and then I would tell them back to my friends, right? And I remember, or I would tell her stories, or I'd read stories from a book. And my little cousins were always so excited, like, "Oh, Mom's gonna tell us a story," and they all sit down and like, because I'd really get into it. I'd like to scare them. Yeah, and so I definitely had an itch for it right there. I just didn't know it would evolve into filmmaking. Not until like I was in middle school and I found myself really kind of asking more questions about films. Who's directing this? Who's acting in it? And I think the film that really kind of like just grasped me and I knew like, oh, okay, I think I'm really into film was The Departed. Martin Scorsese. Yeah, it's just like the the thrill of it, you know? It's just, I don't know. That movie definitely made me realize I really love film. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is like not, I don't, maybe not a career, not until
Mm-hmm.
after high school. But that's when like it kind of like took its next step.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until after high school where I was like, well, okay, what do I do now? Like, I like writing. Maybe I should, major in literature or something, or like be an English major. Um, but when I transferred to a community college, I was like, no, I mean, I like film. Let's take a class, and I took my first screenwriting class
Mm-hmm.
when I was 19. That was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, but
Yeah.
so satisfying. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know exteriors, interiors.
Sisters, yeah.
I didn't know how to separate my business lines, all that. Um, and it was just tons of description, over explaining everything. But I got those 93 pages that I needed. It was hell because 93 pages, yeah. I have them at home. Like, they're just like, they're written in so many different formats. Like, I use like Word, I use Celtics.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was just a big sloppy mess, but I'm so proud of that mess, It was very hard, but like so much fun. And yeah, you just had to like sit there and just get it all out.
Mm-hmm.
And for somebody who's like very in tune with their emotions, writing is very therapeutic to me and just something I love to do.
Yeah. I mean, you're a really good writer. I mean, you have helped us a lot to like review our scripts, with Christina. So I'm like, and then, reading your project is like, damn. Like you said, of course it comes with practice, I'm sure, you know what I mean? But like, it's just like how you get straight, and like when you read like, a script from Marlon, you're like, you can picture it. And I think that is very hard and is very unique as a writer that you can do that. So okay,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, I owe a lot to my classmates. They would read my script and there's no time to, I guess I wouldn't say be nice, but just be straightforward. Like, okay, you got too much in your business. I think you're you're talking the past tense, you're wrong, talking the wrong tense. So just doing that over and over again in each class, like reading each other's scripts, seeing their style, seeing what you like, really kind of like helped me out. Because that class to me, although we weren't like, film production, we were screenwriters, different. We were kind of separated from that.
Yeah.
It felt very vulnerable. I remember one class specifically stuck out because we were supposed to write about a time where we felt very betrayed. We wrote it down, and then she said, my professor, now I'll write it as your characters. We wrote it as our characters, and then we're supposed to read it out loud to class. And I remember I volunteered for whatever reason to read first, just because of how like nervous I got for it. And I was like, and I grew up being very nervous and timid, and I lost a lot of experiences and opportunities that went. I'm sick. I was sick of it coming out of high school. So I rose my hand, and I read the first passage or the first sentences, and I couldn't continue. I just felt like it brought me back.
Okay.
But so my other classmate had to read it for me. But still, it was. I'm glad like I had the floor to talk.
And I feel like you said, a lot of screenwriting, they put it on the side from filmmaking, and like, I mean, to me, it's like screenwriting is the core of filmmaking. You don't do nothing without a script.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I know, for some reason in school they always separated. Like, I never met no screenwriters when I was going to school in season. I mean,
yeah. See, it was hard because I was like, I tried to fight my way to get in a directing class, but there was like, no, that's reserved for TV students. So I was like, I'm sure like they need a screenwriter in there, right? And luckily I did take directing, and so they were all like people I didn't have any like real connection, because they're all working on their projects, and I was like, how do I fit in here? Like, how do I become their friends? So yeah, it was definitely like anything else. You just have to fight to be in that room. Anywhere where you want to be, it's always a battle. You're always fighting.
Fighting for that. Yeah, fighting for this little open door, opening it myself, creating it myself. You know what I mean?
Present yourself. Tell why should you be there?
Yeah. Well, now talking about like opening opportunities, you open your production company, right? On our fragment.
Yes.
So how did that start it?
It started with three of us.
Okay.
It was me, my friend Brenda Hernandez,
Mhm.
and Kevin Somoza. And the three of us just wanted to make a movie one day. And we had no idea what we were doing. I don't think we even had lights, you know?
Mhm.
I didn't know anything about a camera other than, what should be in the frame, you
Okay.
know? And so we started like, I think 2016,
Mhm.
we shot a short film. We didn't end up finishing it, but it was fun. It was an experience. And then from there, we just, I wrote my first script, Harold.
Mhm.
And we had all these plans of like going out to Maine and
Mhm.
shooting out there. We're fundraising. We asked for certain money, but like I had very little knowledge of how to really make a film
Mhm.
because that would have been a disaster flying out over there,
Yeah.
with no real plan. We just like had a friend who had a farm, but ultimately we shot at my aunt's house, middle of nowhere, which was a great set. Um, and yeah, I look back at that film, I see its mistakes, but also I'm just so happy that I was able to like make it.
Mhm.
A lot of people are embarrassed of some projects sometimes looking
Mhm.
back
Mhm.
because of how far they came. But I look at Harold and, I see its mistakes, but it's like, oh, good for you,
You finished it,
youngsters.
but did
You
you
went
direct
for
it?
it.
Do you
I
direct it?
directed and I wrote that
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of like, when you were looking over there looking for a cast for directing, you kind of stepped into the directing part, right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
No, when you said in school, like, oh, like I was looking to be in a directing class,
Mhm.
right? So now you step into the directing area from
Yeah.
screenwriter.
Well, I started as screenwriting. I had a love and hate relationship with my education. I was in and out of college
Mhm.
several times. So by the time I went back to get screenwriting as a major, I was a lot older than the people in my class.
Mm.
So I had this kind of weird disconnect from them. Especially with COVID, we wore
Mhm.
masks. So
Oh.
we couldn't really see each other's faces. And a lot of time it was Zoom.
Okay.
But yeah, screenwriting was always there. And yeah, my goal is to like write more than direct. I like
Mhm.
directing, but if I don't have the right director, like I mean, I love writing, and
Mhm.
if I had anybody to direct my films, I'll have them direct it. I just need to find the right people. 'Cause I would
Yeah.
love to handle like it's like a baby, your baby.
Yeah.
You want to put it in the right hands. You want to see it like grow, and you got to have some kind of like mind.
Mhm. I always
Um,
feel so scared for that though. Because
yeah,
it's like you said, it's a baby, and I'm just like, I hope I have the same vision. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I feel like I get more nervous when like seeing it in the script and like being asked, "Oh, can you direct?" And I'm like, "Okay, let me put it like make sure I'm on the same page of your vision." You know what I mean? It's a very huge responsibility. That's how I see it.
yeah,
Yeah, because like you said, like you wrote it, it's your baby. You know what I mean? And you don't want someone who takes it from here to something different than what you envision. Does
yeah,
that make sense? So for me, that's why, as someone direct is like, okay, I hope I do good justice. And I feel like maybe it's just me like overthinking everything. But you know what I mean? I just feel like from a director perspective, like I get scared to get
yeah,
handled like a script.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's even scary sharing your ideas with somebody, right? But I always thought like if I don't get the habit of sharing or talking to the right people, they're gonna stay up in my brain, and I need that feedback. I need tell me what's wrong. Tell me what you think is wrong
Mm-hmm.
with my film. I may not, I take everything with a grain of salt. But yeah, it is scary. And I always tell myself if somebody's gonna like if I wanna hand my script off, like I'm handing it off,
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I'd like to be involved in the process. If they want any changes, I can
Mm-hmm.
try to help with, make changes so they can better direct.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but even if like, I hand my story off, somebody steals my story, I always think, okay, well, that happens. I'm sure it happens. Or somebody took inspiration from your story,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to sell myself short and think I can't make another one. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm
Yeah.
just always thinking like, okay, yeah, I guess it's a learning experience, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes scripts get leaked online,
Mm-hmm.
that's always unfortunate, but like, what are you going to do? Just keep doing it,
Yeah, keep it.
keep going for it.
Do you copyright your scripts now?
I've copyrighted a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good that you're doing that. Because I heard a very, very hard and sad story from someone who got
Yeah.
stole the whole script. But
It's you're definitely the ones that you talk to like randomly about. You want to like make sure you're already got the ball rolling,
Yeah.
But it's almost, I would feel kind of flattered if somebody wanted to steal my idea. It's not going to come out the same way, and I'll probably still direct it and write it. My own version, because we're always just borrowing. But I think perspective is what is always unique.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah. So for Lunar Fragments, like, do you have more projects coming up? I know we talk about the animation.
Yeah.
And kind of going back, you did help us on the animation, but we did a whole team with Salvador. So like, I wanted to kind of like talk a little bit about the animation, and I know you're finishing another film, right?
Yeah. So I shot a film during the pandemic, I think around 2001. It's called Only Bad Things. I haven't made any announcements for it. Maybe I made one post, but I really didn't know what I was going to do with it. It was a weird time. I wanted to be there for the festivals. So I just kind of shelved it, and I kind of took my time. I'd revisit it and see what I can fix. But for the most part, that was like a very like low budget. Like I shot most of it. I had somebody help me with, because I'm in it too. Some of the shots, I'm in the film.
You're an actor too.
Yeah. That's how it started.
Okay.
So I have Only Bad Things. We shot during the pandemic. Had a very talented cast in that film. I'll make its announcements when it's ready.
Yeah.
But I will be submitting Only Bad Things and Eyes All Over, which is my most recent one, to festivals this year, to as many as I can, starting with La Leaf.
Yay!
Yeah, thanks to you guys for pointing me in the right direction and what to do with my films and who to talk to. Yeah, and that's going to be a really great, fun experience, especially for my little cousin, because she's always asking me, when's the movie coming out? When's the movie coming out? And I told her it will come out when it's coming out, and just be ready to put something nice on and go see it in a theater and take pictures. It's gonna be a whole experience. You're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yes, there's always a lot of fun, because it's like movies take a lot of work.
Yeah,
and you have two that you have been working.
Yeah,
and it's like it's like your baby, and you see it grow. It's like from this idea, from the idea to paper to production to post production. Now you see it, and like it's a time for you to celebrate all your hard work. Yeah,
and because definitely Only Bad Things I shot pretty quickly. Like I remember I wrote the story pretty quick, and then it just happened, right? All in the span of like maybe 6 months, maybe. Eyes All Over, I wrote like 4 years ago, and I just had very little understanding of how to create what I wanted. I had a very specific look, and a lot of unfortunate things happened, had me postpone, whether it's like rescheduling because of fires, cast conflicting schedules where they just had to ultimately drop out, and so it almost felt like it was just teasing me. I was like, this movie does not want to be made, but like this is just, it is what it is, right? Some will take a long time, some won't, and I just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and it was such a beautiful experience to finally hold that film, all the footage on that hard drive, and look at it and like a Pokemon, like I caught you. I finally got you.
Yes, like now it's
you're mine. You're not going anywhere.
Love it. And you just finished that one, and then you're starting another one, right?
Yes, the one I've been.
Is it
would
the
you like?
One?
Yes. So it's called There Are Wolves. Okay. And I'll just leave it at that for now.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that. It will come out soon, once everything's together. But I am so excited for all your work to come out. I've seen a little bit of the all over you. I think Christina showed me a little bit. So I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see all the film festival you get accepted, because we're manifesting that for you. Okay. But before we go, where can people find you?
So we have a website, lunarfragments.com. We have a few of our shorts on there. We're on YouTube as well, and Instagram. Okay. Under the same handle.
Just Lunar Fragments. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then for everyone, you already know, everybody will be linked in the description. So please go follow Marlon. Go follow his production company. Support his work. And that's all I can say. Thank you for coming today. It was a pleasure to have you here on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is very, very fun to talk film.
Okay. Yes, to talk about film.
Yeah.